Right, what we're just going to roughly do today is give you a rough guide of the type of flying clothing as would be worn by Mosquito crew as here, which is two people, pilot, navigator. There's pilot, there's navigator. Now, one of the things, unlike the bomber crew, you'll see they're all wearing exactly the same flying kit. Not quite so much on this. Whichever flying clothing your personal preference was, that's what you could use. So you'll notice, first of all, two different types of boots. So these are what you call your 41 boots, standard bomber command. Nice warm sheepskin lined boots. You'll see the strap on the ankles. Technically, when you bail out, it doesn't fall off. The other one, pilot. Pilots are worth money. He gets a more expensive pair of boots. He's got escape boots. Came in around 1943. These particular boots, if you notice, have got suede uppers and leather shoes. Idea being is, you cut the top off. If you bail out enemy things, you have a pair of shoes. Apparently still very uncomfortable, but the idea being is they were loosely based on a continental style of shoe. But apparently the Germans could recognise them instantly because far too good condition. Because by this stage, European shoes, very poor condition, rebuilt, remade, recobbled, so they'd immediately stand out as new, which was the problem. Clothing wise, they're just wearing, as I am myself, standard battle dress. Just standard working clothing that was used across the whole Air Force by this stage as flying clothing, work clothing, just the basic work wear. You'll next see they both have the Mae West. Standard pattern, 1941 on, pattern of Mae West. Being your flotation device, if you bail out, you see it's padded, so it's got K-pox for buoyancy. They've also got, you can't see very well, an inflation tube. And I believe these two also, as Mosquito, they've got the CO2 bottles, extra quick. Bomber crews, they didn't give them to. Whereas these are worth more. Pilots, navigators take a long time to train. Just general air crew, you can train in 6 months. A pilot will take you quite a long time to train. Same as a navigator. You've got to be naturally clever. So the same on the escape routes in France. The emphasis was put towards getting pilots, navigators back to the UK. This is where your long period of training comes in. You'll see also in this particular instance, they both have the observer harness. Normally, the pilot has a seat chute, so he will sit on the parachute. The navigator, in case, will have a chest chute, because he needs more room to do what he's doing. He's got to work on stuff. You'll notice parachute pack is separate. Normally, the pilot has a seat chute, so he sits on his parachute at any one time, because he's also got the furthest to get out of the aircraft. The pilot is on the other side. But navigator's this side. Navigator's first one out the door with a quick kick. He's got to get out fast. And then the pilot has the problem getting across the aircraft to get out. But as in this case, the Mosquito had got a very high survival chance. A much higher survival chance as a bomber. I'm not quite sure the percentage at the moment, but it's a much higher survival chance. Because the quicker, higher, as this being a night fighter variant, they're less likely to get hit by enemy fighters anyway. And then also you'll notice flying helmets. Two entirely different flying helmets. This is the same type used as Battle Britain style, but he just got given an old stock. They were lower down the food chain. The Bomber Command were the new ones by now. They get all the new kit. These are less down the food chain, as I say, so he just gets given old surplus stuff. They don't make no difference. Stay in the storerooms. Flying helmet. Where's the chap here? Pilot. He's got a latest model of pilot. Latest model. So as you can see, we've got the G mast, which is the standard mast really from about 42 onwards, and was really used through to the end of the war. And he's got Mark 7 flying goggles, which if he's flying in the day, you can have the sun flip shield on the thing. You'll see the little clips on the piece. And a small Mustang passing by. As you see, he's got the Mark 8 flying goggles. He's got the tinted anti-flash lens on him. If you hit something at night time, as a night fighter, if you hit an enemy aircraft, whoop, your night vision's gone. So they'll flip the shields down quick and give them a chance. Otherwise, once your night vision's gone, you're now blind again. You can't see. So if you're aware of these things, this can help you get out the matter. So the variations on them. And also Navigator, he's got all his maps, because he's got to carry all his different maps with him and different paperwork, course bits and pieces. He will take it to the aircraft, select what he wants, dump the rest out to the ground crew for when he comes back home again. Because as you would imagine, there's very limited space inside for carrying the amount of bits and pieces. But as it being a night fighter variant, they've got a lot of radar to watch. But you still need map to know where you actually are. You need to know whereabouts you are. There'll be different call signals for airfields to give them a clue. You've still got to know where you are. Because there was no, systems weren't quite as accurate as we have today. No GPS systems to put you into exactly now where you are. So that gives you a rough idea of what they're wearing, of what you see standing on there. Oh yeah, he's the officer. Oh, this chap here, he's a pre-war regular. He's obviously moved through the auxiliary squadrons. He's moved up and carried on through different things. This one was one of them was a blending squadron, 6. I can't remember. There was one, wasn't there? Yeah. Can't remember the squadron. There was a blending squadron very early on, which were an auxiliary squadron, a bomber. So I think that's where he's coming through the system from. He's already twin engine to start with. And he's just flight sergeant. Well, not just, he's moved up one rank. The sergeant minimum rank of flying. That's the bottom line, and there he is. One day he may make WO if he's good, or survives long enough. I think good may be the option of him. So that's the rough bit. Got any questions? Do ask. I know 1,001 answers. If you can ask me a lot of questions, and I may have some answers I've not said the questions of.
Excuse me?
Yep.
Have you got oxygen?
Yeah, he's got the mask on, the sort of t-shirt, Joe's got this, so this is his, it's in the aircraft. There'll be another part of tube next to where the station you work. There'll be the other half of the pipe for that to connect into, and it's piped in the system. Oxygen tanks will be much further down the aircraft on the piece. And also, that's your radio communication, you've got to plug that in. That's all your electrics to communicate to there via your microphone. That's a plug that connects into all your electrics. These two, if you looked in the door, they're on the far side, right next to his workstation. Yes, that's on here. But you flick it on to talk, off as soon as you finish talking. Never leave the microphone on, because it opens a channel and then they can't talk to you.
What about production? When did it come into use?
I think 41 started coming in. 41, they had a lot of political problems to overcome to explain really how a lightweight wooden aircraft is going to compete along with big heavy metal ones, of which they already make. Because nothing really been made like it before, and this was obviously a new thing, and plus they're using Merlins up, so unless it worked 100% they weren't going to give you the engines.
Is there someone that if they went up too high, if it's not like flip, it would lose engine? The ones the wooden ones did, didn't they?
No, I think they're pretty well on that. They've got a hell of a good ceiling height. They use them in long range reconnaissance over Germany, So you could fly very, very good high altitude and no problem on that one. So I'm not sure on that one. I think anything, well, if you get it wrong, it requires the pilot's skill, to all of them do, to hold them in the abilities.
And they like antenna on the front there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if any of the old sets have survived?
I believe a lot of radar stuff like that has survived, yes, because it was very technical when it was made, and they would use it for quite a long time. Then it would move on into training aids for something else to, you know, I mean, it goes along like. Surprising what does survive. To me, they're all big grey boxes, but they do survive. People, I know people have got large collections of all these different radio and type equipment, basically. So yes, they do survive. Some of them would be less, they wouldn't be quite rare to find because they wouldn't make a lot of them. They'd always be superseding with a better model because you think it was in its infancy. It was quite new technology. So yes. Any more questions? Oh, is an hand?
With a continuous burst on the cannon, how long would the ammunition last?
Not a long time. You probably only have a maximum minute over all of them. You've got your 4. It's 20mm Pisana series are there. They're perhaps only about 30 seconds probably because you think the big shells and the amount you have, and it shifts a hell of a lot per minute. And then you've got your 4.303 Brownings on there. And I know these can't be loaded. Yeah, these can't be loaded in aircraft. Some types can be loaded by the gunner, radio operator, whoever you've got. They've got big drums that could load on. I don't believe these can. It'd take probably close to a couple of year and a half, something like that. Train the pilot.
Progress, because I thought they started
Pardon?
to shorten the time as more progress.
It'll still take a while because you see a lot were trained in the UK in particular, a lot were trained in Canada, a lot of ships out to South Africa because we ain't got enough spare sky to train pilots to actually basically learn to fly. We would find out if you're capable of getting an aircraft off the ground, then you'd be shipped off somewhere else because they wouldn't want to waste the time on you if you weren't capable of the basics. And then of course you've got to learn to fly. But you think how long it's going to take you on a ship to Canada, across Canada, and then the returns of all of that, then the training. So this way sort of year and a half roughly comes in really. So yeah. Any more questions? Yep.
This guy's really tall and I can't imagine even getting in and out of Mosquito. Was there a
No, I don't believe they've got things of adjustment. Certain aircraft have got a height restrictions. More often to gunners. I know a chap he was this tall, he was originally on Defiance. And he was taken off because then he was too tall, which is probably why he survived. But on the other hand, my friend John, his pilot couldn't fly the Sterling because he was too short. Couldn't reach pedals. So he was taken off that and stuffed into something smaller. So yes, there is height restriction depending a little bit on the things. They just move you about, to be honest. Yes, he would get into there. He seems quite roomy, to be honest.
Is this one going to try to fly?
No, this will never fly. Hopefully the engines will run at some stage, but no, it will never fly. So, no, to make one fly, you have to hold brand new bike. They are making them, made in New Zealand, and there's 2 in theories of wanting to fly in the UK. We can do all the engineering and part manufacture, and the bodies will be made in New Zealand, and then we make, same as the American ones, that's where they're done. They're made in New Zealand, because they made the moulds to make the bodies. Yes, it's been done.
Welcome Kevin Hale back to East Kirkby, just landing on with his Oster.